What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I got a request from one of my subscribers, the brother Aram. Salute to you for the $10 donation via the PayPal. And he had a question. He wanted me to give my all-time starting five. And after giving my all-time starting five, discussing whether or not I think that each individual player would either be competitive or perhaps even dominate in today's game. So at center, I think many of you probably already guesstimate who that is. That's going to be Wilt Chamberlain. At power forward, I'm going to go with Tim Duncan. At small forward, I'm going to go with Larry Bird. At shooting guard, Michael Jordan. And at point guard, I'm going to go with Magic Johnson. Okay. Now, there are going to be some people who think that Magic doesn't fit in today's game because, they tend to think of Magic Johnson as a guy who was phenomenal in the fast break situation, but did not have much of a jump shot. And if you're talking about the Magic Johnson from 1980 or 81, then you would have a great point. But see, Magic Johnson was an example of a player who worked tirelessly on his craft and made significant improvements. Magic Johnson initially was a big gambler on one-on-one defense. He was a big gambler, which led to a payoff of him getting a lot of steals, but it also led to him getting burnt a lot on defense, a lot. So he led the league in steals twice, but yet one-on-one defense, he was not very disciplined, and he was average, which goes to indicate that steals is not always an indicator of how great a defender you are, especially on the perimeter. Now, Magic Johnson improved in his mid-range. He improved defensively. His steals went down because he gambled less, but he became, I would say, a solid defender, but not great defender. He still had a weakness against smaller guards, but that's to be kind of normal considering he was 6'9". But yeah, man, I think he would fit in great today. I think, when you look at the fact that toward the end of his career with the Lakers, Magic Johnson had become a respectable jump shooter. You had to respect it at least. And he had even developed a three-point shot. One year, I remember he shot 38% from three. So I think if he played today, he would have added the three ball to his game. I'm not saying he would have been Steph Curry, by no means. But I think he'd be a better three-point shooter than Russell Westbrook, considering how he was shooting toward the end of his career with the Lakers in real life. But I think he'd be like 34, 35% from three. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, respectable. But, man, he would be an absolute monster in transition because now you don't have that big man impeding him on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Magic Johnson's size and court vision made him a monster in the fast break. But now you have that court vision in a half court situation where there's really no bigs down low. So I could see him doing the LeBron-ish where, basically what I'm saying is he's powering his way to the rim for easy scores. I could see him scoring more in today's game, honestly, than I did in the era that I do in the era that he played in. And plus players can do more and get away with more. You know what I'm saying? So, and don't forget, Magic Johnson was When he first came to the league, he was around a 75% free throw shooter. Um, but toward the end of his career, he was a great free throw shooter, leading the league in free throw percentage one year, I think 91%, 85% for his career. So he was a great free throw shooter, great rebounder for his position, ungodly passer, ungodly facilitator, um, efficient scorer. Come on. But Jordan, I don't even have to really go into detail about that one, do I? I mean, do we really have to go into detail about how he would dominate today's game? I mean, come on. I've done videos after videos talk about that, so I'm gonna skip Mike because it don't even really make sense rehashing what we already know. Larry Bird, if anything, like I said before, I thought the era that he might have struggled a bit in would have been maybe the late '90s into the 2000s, because the league was more predicated on athleticism then. So he may not have been quite as he still would have been dominant, but I think today's game, with the way things are spaced out now, and it's not a game predicated on speed, more on shooting and passing, pick and roll. I mean, that's just right up Larry Bird's alley. You know what I'm saying? That's right up Larry Bird's alley. The guy was what, 6'10", barefoot, 6'9.5", honestly, 6'10", 6'11" in shoes. Uh, I mean, look at it. Look at it like this. Nikola Jokic is far from what we would call a coast to coast uber athlete. And look at what he's doing to this league. So when people make this argument that Larry Bird would somehow struggle, when if anything, Bird was a little bit more athletic and quicker than Luka. I mean, excuse me, than Nikola Jokic. Yeah, I think he would dominate in today's league. I don't know what numbers, but I mean, I could definitely see him putting up 30 if he chose to, but more along the lines of 27, 28. I could see him averaging 9, 10 rebounds. I could see him averaging, you know, 7, 8 assists. I could see him putting up Jokic-esque numbers. Absolutely. And by the way, Magic, if I had to just throw it out there, I think Magic could average 25, 10, and 15. Yeah. 25, 10, and 15. And I could definitely see him racking up in this era 45 to 50 triple doubles in peak seasons. And I'm not exaggerating. Tim Duncan. Now, I still think Tim Duncan would be great. Absolutely. But, we're in a different era now, right? So I don't know if Tim is going to play as much as far as his back to the basket as he did during his era. So I kind of look at Tim the last 4 or 5 years of his career, but put him in his prime. And I think what we get is a Tim Duncan that's going to be more of a face-up guy. I still think he's going to dominate. I think the shooting percentage goes down a little bit, though. I mean, it's just common sense. I think the shooting percentage goes down a little bit. I think Timmy would be more acclimated or claimed in this era for his defense than his offense. I think, honestly, I hate to make this comparison because he got a long way to go. And Timmy's not 7'5", but think old boy right now with the Spurs And but Tim Duncan's the more complete player. Tim, I think, would be a shoo-in for a couple of Defensive Player of the Year awards, shot block artists. Um, Now, when I say shot block artist, I don't mean he's averaging 4 blocks a game, but I definitely see him averaging 2.5, close to 3 blocks a game in his peak. I think he would shoot more outside shots, more threes. Um, but I still think that Tim Duncan would be a great player. Um, just he would have to adjust how he plays to today's game, is what I'm trying to say here. Um, might be a little bit of a different player. Wilt Chamberlain, same thing with him. Um, I think what we would see with a Wilt Chamberlain and a Tim Duncan is I think these guys would get more minutes during the postseason when the game slows down a bit. During the regular season, ironically, their scoring may go down a bit. But yeah, I think that they would all still be dominant players, but they would have to make some obvious adjustments. But especially the post players on my top 5 all-time list. Those guys would definitely have to make some adjustments. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.